Hello, it's Andrea Bethke here for the Citrus Twist Design team, and today is National Scrapbook Day, and as part of our week-long celebration of National Scrapbook Day, I'm going to be sharing with you a fun sketch challenge that we're going to do together today for National Scrapbook Day, because today is actually the day, but we've been celebrating all week, and we'll continue to celebrate tomorrow. So anyway, this is my sketch. This is the challenge for May the 6th. Well, this is my layout that I made from the sketch. So this is what I will be showing you how to work on. And it's going to be great. So please join me. It's going to be so much fun. If you haven't seen the May kit, check that out. I tried to use as much of the kit as possible, and I used a lot of the goodies in the kit because, well, there's a lot of good stuff to use, and I just like to challenge myself like that. So if you want an extra challenge in addition to using the sketch, you can try and do that too. Try to use as much from the kit as you can. All right, so let's get started. Yay! I'm pulling out the papers that I think I really want to use for my layout, and I have a sketch to use, right? And so I'm thinking using some solid white. I'm going to be using these fun crepe paper papers. Of course, I love crepe paper. We all know that. If you don't know that, now you do. And I like this color scheme, right? Because these all sort of go together with the pinks and stuff. I think I might add in some nice bright blue, also from the Citrus Twist exclusive paper. Put that in there. And let's see. I think I'll probably end up cutting some of this out as well. So these are the patterns I'm going to use. So almost all of the patterns, it seems like, or at least that's what I have a plan to use at this point. Okay, so you'll notice in this sketch, the sketch is for an 8.5 by 11 layout. Now, as I always say, whenever I do the Sunday sketches and whenever I use a sketch, you can always use your sketch no matter what the size it is technically, quote unquote, for. You can absolutely use it for any size that you want to use it for. So if you have a 12 by 12 sketch, but you want to make an 8.5 by 11, or you only make 8.5 by 11 when you scrapbook, it's very easy to, really it is, guys. You don't have to feel trapped by the size of the sketch they give you. You can always just apply it to that other size. So the same way as I always say, you can use a 12 by 12 sketch for an 8.5 by 11 layout. You can absolutely use a 8.5 by 11 sketch for a 12 by 12 layout. So I am going to be making an 8.5 by 11 layout, as shown by the fact that I just cut this down to the size of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. However, really, guys, you can use this for both sizes, or even a smaller size, even a, a 6 by 8 or something, whatever you want to do. It's cool. So, but I'm going to show you how to do it on 8.5 by 11. And it's going to be the same sort of theories that I apply for 12 by 12. So, take your white sheet of paper as your background. So the first thing we're going to do is make that fun fringe that you see at the top of the page on the sketch, right? So we're going to take some of our pattern papers and just literally cut sort of a scallop out of our papers. And I won't bore you by making me watch me cutting a scallop out of each one of the pattern papers I want to use. I'll just show you at the end what it looks like. All right, so as you can see, I cut scallops out of my pattern papers that I'm choosing to use with my lovely layout for my sketch challenge. And what I did is I cut them really big. I cut one, so it's 12 inches long from the 12-inch pattern paper that looks like this. And then I just used it as a template to cut the other two. See how they're all the same. And then, but what you want to do is then You want to stagger them so they all show up nicely. All right, so as you can see, got my scallops on there. They're attached with some double-sided tape, but I was thinking of maybe adding some stitching later. And then I've got a photo here. I chose a few, and they're 4x6. Now the sketch says to use a large photo, which I think means probably 4x6 or bigger, considering this is an 8.5 by 11, page. If you're doing 12 by 12, you probably want to go even bigger than that. Start by probably 5 at the 7 on the low end, unless you do want to switch it up and use a smaller picture. I mean, that's fine as well, of course. And what I was talking about before when I saw this paper and I said I was going to cut it up, I did try cutting up a whole word, like cutting a whole strip with a word out. It was the word dream. And I thought I can use that as my title, like here on the bottom or along the side, going up and down. I just didn't like the way it looked. So, as you can see, I cut into the paper even more and just cut out a couple of letters, right? So I've got the letter R and the letter A, which happens to be the initials of me and my hubby, which this is us in the picture, and I thought it'd be cute to make this layout about us and our love. So that's that. I also cut out a little bit of the grid from that paper. I love that there's all this grid in that paper. It's perfect because you can cut it out and use it to write on, make little labels and things and little accents. So what I was thinking was putting this over here or on this side, along with one of these little gold foil labels along the edge of the paper on that side, or like I said, over here. Just being like a nice little accent, and I'll probably add stitching to it. So it's a little extra something. I don't know. I'm not sure which side it's going to go on. It says it wants the title to be over here, so it probably should be on this side. Although I'm not sure if it's going to be the title or just a little accent, really. Going back and forth, going back and forth. Oh, the process of scrapbooking, trying to decide what you're going to do. All right. And then I definitely want to use these beautiful thickers. They're just so gorgeous. So maybe I'll write love or something over here. Let's try it. Everything that you do with paper crafting, with scrapbooking, it really should be a process of playing with things, if that makes sense. Like trial and error, just trying things and seeing if you like them. And if you don't, you can always change it, right? So, but the sketch, using a sketch is nice because there doesn't have to be as much trial and error, right? You've got a starting point. You've got an inspiration to start from that you can then build off of, and you can change as you like as to what fits you and the picture and the story that you're trying to tell, right? Let's try you. Maybe we should just write out love you, shall we? All right, and I'm trying to get everything as straight as I can. If you like to measure and use a ruler, you can do that. I always like to just eyeball things. I really don't like, and when I say really don't like, I mean really don't like measuring things. I just don't. It's like against my whole person to try and actually measure something. I don't know. It feels like I'm doing math or something, which is just unpleasant to me. And I don't know why. Anyhow. Okay, so moved it around a little bit, added some strips to the side of my picture, and there is a tag, if you noticed, in this sketch, right? It goes down here. I just cut a little piece from our wood pattern, and I'm going to made the side sort of shaped like how a tag are, right, at the top. And then I'm just going to punch a hole in the middle at the top. And there we go, voila, a tag, or part of a tag, right? Because I actually wanted part of a tag. I actually made it a little bit bigger than it needs to be because it's going to go down here. So I'm actually going to cut it down. Let me move this up so you guys can see. I'm actually going to cut it like right about there. So that, right there. So that's at the edge of the paper. So let me just cut this down right now. I cut that very crooked. That's okay. Just try it again. Try again. All right. And it looks like there's still a little bit of overhang, but I'm just going to attach it to my page, and then I will cut it down all the way when I'm done, you know, doing the rest of my page. So this is what I've got. This is what I'm working with. I want to do some journaling on here. I was also thinking that it might be cute to cut out some pieces from here and use those on my page. So I'm actually going to do that. And I still want to use this little piece of grid something. I was trying to figure out how I could use that as well, where I could put it, where I could use it. I will figure it out. Okay, so I moved some things around on the page a little bit more, and I did go ahead and cut out a couple of these pieces to see if I wanted to use them. As you can see, I think I'm going to use this one here, and I think I might go ahead and put that little grid piece there. Move the label from over here to up here, and I'm now trying to think of what, because I like this flower here, but I think it needs to be in like a cluster of things. So I'm going to use my little plus signs, right? Use one of those there. I'm going to use a little flare and just start sort of clustering up pieces like that to sort of frame the picture on this side. And I think I will go ahead and use some enamel dots too over in this area to have like a nice cluster of embellishments and things over here. So I'm just gonna play with it, see what it looks like and if I like it. Now, I want to make sure it's like clear that this is a tag. So I was thinking of putting some of that string that we got on the packaging, right, through my tag. So let me cut a little bit. We don't need a whole lot. Loop it, cut it, and then I'm going to, let me just move this. I'm going to just put it through the hole. And as you can see, and as I always say, I try not to adhere things down until the end. Yes, I adhered the top scallop part down, but for the most part, when I'm working on a scrapbook layout, anything really like this, I like to wait until the end to actually lay things out. Actually adhere things down, because I like to lay them out and see for sure if I like how they look before I start adhering things, because you know it's easier to adhere later than to try and rip things back up that you already adhered down, right? I'm just gonna add a few pieces of, I was gonna say confetti again. I don't know what's with me and the confetti. I keep calling it confetti. A few sequins around here, some of the rose gold ones. Just a little scattering. I really like how they look. They're so pretty. And I definitely want to do some writing on here. So I'm going to take my just black gel pen, and I'll probably do some writing and some stamping. Now, I'm not sure if I want to do some writing here or stamp there and then write down here, because I do have my lovely stamps that come in the kit as well. So, but I think I'm going to definitely do some writing on here, maybe even on these cute little pink label things here. All right, so I went ahead and did a little writing. I wrote Ryan and Andrea, and then the word documented, which came in my nice little stamp set, right, with just some black stays on ink. I think I am gonna go ahead and stamp on this label as well. I'm gonna stamp the date which this picture was taken in March, and I'm just gonna put March 2017 and stamp that along the edge because it is going to be tucked underneath the photo. So, and you know what, I'm not gonna do it on my layout because I don't want to actually get black ink on my layout. That would be bad, so I'll do it over here to the side on this paper I have laid out on my table. Oh, and it didn't come out perfect, but that's okay. I will just re-ink the little part that didn't come out perfect, and I'll just restamp it a little bit. No big deal. Just want to try and line it up as best as possible. If this ever happens to you, it's a little trick that I've done before. Just sort of look at it, try to, you know, line it up as much as you can. And if all else fails, it still looks a little weird. If all else fails, I'll show you another trick that I do, which is basically just to get a pen and fill it in a little if it still looks a little odd. So that's what I'll do. And it did leave a tiny bit of a smudge along the edge there. I'm not sure if that bothers me. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. I'll tuck it in and see if it bothers me. If it does, I can always cover it up. So yeah, so this is what I've got so far. I still want to put a little something here, and I'm trying to decide what it should be. But otherwise, I think things look pretty good. Should we add a paper clip somewhere? You guys know how I love my paper clips. I'm not sure where I would add it in this case. Maybe to the side? Another option would be to add it down here at the bottom, clipped onto my tag to the side, which it does say "Oh Happy Day" going across vertically, so it makes sense to have it clipped onto something along the edge, along the side. I think I'm going to try stapling on this little piece of paper. So I'm going to just move this up and go ahead and write on my tag here, because this is where the journaling goes according to the sketch. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is add some just a couple more puffy stickers. So I'm going to add one of these here over here, these little cute little dots. And then I was thinking of adding this camera, since this day, you know, that I wrote about on my tag here, we were doing a photo shoot for our photography company, actually, for an engagement. This really lovely couple got engaged. I can't remember their names, but they were both very sweet. And yeah, so I like how that's looking. Oh, and if you're wondering, after we shot the two of them for their engagement shoot, then we decided to take pictures of ourselves because we're really corny and dorky like that. And you know, I love doing that. You know, we go on photo shoots all the time for different couples, for engagement shoots, weddings is mostly what we do. Yeah, a lot of times it ends up, I go, oh, it's such a pretty area, we should take pictures of us too. And it becomes just a nice way to document our love. So we're always documenting other people's loves, you know, their wedding day, their engagement, etc., or like family portraits too, and the love of a whole family. But I like to document our love as well. I think it's really important to document our love. So that's what this here is about. And I was just thinking if I wanted to add, because on the sketch, I know there is like a border sort of thing, right, around the edge. And I'm not sure if I do want to add like a line or something around it, you know, just in pen, like doodle on there. I was thinking about it. I was also thinking about writing a little something here about the actual photography shoot that we went on. I think that would be nice and maybe give a little bit more balance to that side. and then I think I will go ahead and write something there. Now, when you're writing directly on a page, on a layout, be very careful because it's very easy to mess it up. You can always cover it up, but if you really want the look of it on directly on the layout and you don't want to have to, be covering it up with something, you just want to be careful. A lot of times I will write on like a little piece of white paper, write it down first and then lay it down, see if I like it, like how it looks, just to test it out, and then I will go ahead and actually write it. So I did actually test out writing it right here. Voila, like so. I sort of smudge that. I really gotta be careful not to smudge. Just on some white cardstock. So, but now I'm going to take the chance and go ahead and write it directly on my layout. So we'll see. We'll see if we like it. I'm trying to be careful here, guys. I'm like really nervous now. Photography, shoot for, and our business is actually called Ryan and Andrea Photography, or Ryan and Andrea Photo. Suddenly I can't remember. But I'm just going to put RNA. It's, shorthand. I know what I'm talking about. It's my layout, so. Ryan and Andrea Photography, that's what it's called. So that is my writing right there. And I like it, and I'm still just trying to figure out if I do want to go ahead and put a line around like the whole thing, which I think I'm gonna do. Oh my gosh, I'm like really nervous, guys. But I think what I'm going to do is basically doodle a line along the edge, and I may do like another word here or something. I want to break it up so that maybe there's like some writing here and there, so that's not the only spot with it actually on the layout, but we'll see. And just like with the writing, if you're going to be doing this on your layout, you do want to be careful with this as well. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit crooked, because I think that actually adds interest, if you will. All right, so I brought my photo down a little bit, but I'm done, as you can see. I think it looks good, so I just need to adhere everything down. As I said, I always like to leave all, or at least most of the adhering down to until the end, right? Because then it just makes it easier if I change my mind, want to move anything around. But anyhow, I think it's looking good. I do want to add some sewing to it, so I'm going to add some machine sewing up here. As you can see on the sketch, there is a little bit, it looks like there's some sewing up here, which I like the idea of doing that and feeling like the scallops are held on that way with the sewing. I think I'm going to do a straight line across. Another cute idea might be to go along with the scallops. I'm not sure yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to do machine sewing up here, and then I was thinking of adding a little bit of hand stitching over here with the R and the A. I thought that might look nice. So let me go ahead and do that, and I will show you what that looks like with the machine sewing, and then I'm probably going to show you a little bit more about the hand sewing. All right, so as you can see, I did my machine stitching here, and I did like a crisscross sort of look with a straight stitch, a couple straight stitches going crisscross across the top here. just to add a little interest. It does feel like needs to be something here now, so I was thinking of moving this, which I originally had down here at the bottom of my page. I was thinking about adding it now up here to the top. So, which I like. I like the look of that. I've just been adhering everything down. Now, if you're wondering how do I attach the sequins and my little cork piece and this piece as well, I'm going to be using glue gun glue. Just be, careful. Don't try not to, burn your fingers or anything. Is all I would say for that. And especially if you're going to use the glue gun glue for the sequins, which I am, and it can be a little, scary because you only have a little bit of room to work with because they're so small, right? But, just go slow, be careful, just put a tiny bit on. And you should be okay. See how I'm doing that? Just like a little squeezing out a tiny bit, putting it on there, and then laying it down. So, and I'll do that to these as well. And then, sorry, I had to put my glue gun to the side. And then, I need to still adhere this down. If you have any little, how it makes those strings, the glue gun sometimes, just sort of lightly brush your page to see if there is any, and you can get them off very easily. Look them off. Just sort of roll your hand across it. See how, well, maybe, I don't know if you can see because they're difficult to see because they're so stringy and like see-through because it's glue gun glue. But there we go. Just get those off your page. Like I said, I do think I'm gonna go ahead and put that up there. I like the look of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down too. Right there, a big old yes. Here we go. Yes. Yep. And still trying to figure out if I want to go ahead and use this camera. I did like it, and then I was also trying to figure out what I'm going to do with the letters here because I do want to add them, I think, over here. But I was thinking about sewing on them. I'm going to look I'm going to see how they look with some sewing on it. And then if not, I was thinking maybe it might, maybe I might just do that. All right, so I've got my needle and thread. I've got my needle threaded with my light pink thread here. And I'm gonna take these letters and just see how I like it, just sewing sort of around it, or maybe on the inside. I'm trying to see, let's see, do I wanna go around the outside a little bit, or do I wanna go sort of straight down the middle and create an R? Well, I know I want to go, I was thinking about going around here, so let's just play and see what we come up with. Do some fun stitching. It'll probably be easier just to make a little R on the inside, so I guess we'll just try that. Let's try it, shall we? I love sewing on my layouts. It just adds a nice effect, and I really enjoy both the using the sewing machine and hand sewing. I don't know, it just gives it a nice handmade feel to it. Obviously, a layout is handmade, but it just adds an extra quality to it that I don't know, just feels special. You know, like you know that you put a lot of heart into it, and I don't know how to explain it, but I like it. So hopefully you agree with me. And so we're just doing little stitches around our letter here. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Careful not to poke yourself like I just did. Hopefully, ooh, and also be careful not so your thread doesn't get caught. So hopefully you can see that is just doing a little stitch around the inside there. I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way around on my R and my A and see how I like the look of that. I do think it looks cute, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And as you can see, I didn't sew it onto my layout. It's easier if you just sew it, the actual piece, the actual letter, and then just attach it with some adhesive, some like double-sided sticky tape. It just is easier, trust me. So, and also if you don't like it, you haven't actually sewn something down to your page. So there you go. So let me finish this. All right, there are my letters. I'm just gonna go ahead and attach them on like so. I think I'm even gonna just leave the thread hanging out from the back. You can always just, you know, put that down when you put the tape on. But I'm gonna leave a little bit hanging because I just think it looks cute. It adds a nice touch. I also added some paper clips here. I don't know if I'm going to leave those or not. I'm sort of trying to decide. But you know, I just love paper clips. It's so hard not to put them on the layout. And again, I keep trying to find a place for this camera, but I don't know. But I'm gonna go ahead and adhere these down right now. All right, so I adhered those down. I put a little plus sign there, just, you know, with my pen, so it says like R-N-A, you know, because otherwise it might be confusing. You might think, why does that say Ra, love you? So it's Ryan and Andrea, our initials. So anyhow, I hope you like it. I think it came out really cute. I'm very much enjoying it. You know, I really enjoyed doing this sketch challenge with you for National Scrapbook Day. It was really fun doing this big old scallop at the top. It's definitely something different for me. And I had fun stitching on the letters to create our title. Hopefully that's, you know, I showed you a couple of cool, fun new things that you can do. And you'll try, you know, doodling and writing directly on your page too. So there's a few cool techniques and things in this. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us this National Scrapbook Day for this challenge. You know, we've been doing it this whole week. It will continue tomorrow as well. And I'm also doing some other things for National Scrapbook Day, so check that out when you get a chance. And all right, have a wonderful, happy, scrappy National Scrapbook Day. Remember to live your life as a fairy tale, and I will talk to you guys later. All right? Talk to you later. Have a great day. Here's my completed National Scrapbook Day Citrus Twist layout from the sketch. All right, can't wait to see yours, what you guys make. I'm excited. All right, bye-bye.